George Allen Jr. was convicted on capital murder, rape, sodomy, and first-degree burglary. He was sentenced to 50 years for the capital murder and 15 years consecutively on each of the other 3 charges. George Allen Jr. had a history of severe mental illness, including being frequently hospitalized for schizophrenia. At the time of his interrogation, George Allen informed the officers he was under the influence of alcohol. This was caught on audio recording. Fitting the description of a known sex offender in the area whose brother lived in the victim's apartment building, police mistaken Allen for the known sex offender and brought him in for an interrogation. Although later realizing the mistake, Allen was still held for questioning. After hours of being beat down emotionally and asked highly misleading questions, Allen was riddled with fatigue and without the ability to override impulses, falsely confessed to the crime. Police lab analysts testified that semen found on the scene of the crime and on the victim's body could not exclude Allen. This was later proven to be false. Interestingly, the prosecutor emphasized in his closing statements, if Allen had been excluded as the same source of semen, we would not be here today. The Innocence Project states that one of the main contributors to wrongful convictions are the misapplication of forensic science and false confessions. The total number of wrongful convictions overturned through DNA testing underline the racial disparities in our system. Out of 254 people exonerated through DNA tests, 172 of them are Black and Latino. According to the book, Testimony and Interrogation of Minors, Assumptions About Maturity and Morality, developmental delays and mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, which Allen suffered from, negatively impact the ability to override impulses, as well as a desire to please others and look to authority figures to solve problems. This all contributed to Allen's wrongful confession. George Allen Jr., an African-American male, already had the odds against him. According to the Innocence Project, African Americans are 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted than other races. Innocence Project Policy Director Stephen Shalom was quoted saying, "When considering stereotypes and the disproportionate minority contact in the system, we have a greater propensity to think people of color may have done something wrong. These are just the many ways minorities face injustices in our system. We must do better."